call the meeting to order, please. Agenda item 2.1, adoption of the agenda for the July 12, 2016 regular meeting of council. Reimer and Salt, are there any as one addition?
Correct, one addition.
8.5, and that's with respect to airport hangar requests. So as amended, okay. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 3.1, adoption of the minutes of the June 28, 2016 regular meeting of council. Motion to adopt the minutes, please. Okay. Blanchette and Torgerson. Any errors or omissions? Okay. Councillor Salt?
Under regrets, we should have Mark Macneill, CAO.
Yes, I had that on mine as well. Councillor Torgerson?
Under unfinished business, there's a advice to consider a matter further, but there's nothing in the minutes that reflects what that matter might be. And I believe it was UBCM ministerial appointments.
What number was that, sir?
Under unfinished business,
Okay.
between resolution 214-16 and resolution 215-16.
Yeah, there should be,
Okay.
that's right, there should be a heading in there. Yeah,
Okay, so could that be corrected, please?
that would be correct.
All right. Are there any further errors or omissions? Hearing none, all in favor of adoption as corrected? Carried. Agenda item 3.2, Tourism Valemount, minutes of the May 16th, 2016 meeting. Motion, please. Recommendation that council accepts the minutes of the Tourism Valemount meeting for information purposes. Torgerson and Salt. And is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Agenda item 4.1, we have a delegation, Mr. Carson and Mr. Hoskins, with respect to the outdoor stage on village property. Gentlemen, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I was informed that you were all presented with the drawings, pictures of the proposed stage.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
the exterior look of it. For those not aware, we're proposing a stage development just outside the premises here. East, I believe. My directions are west. Sorry.
In the vacant area right behind the information center.
And it will be a multi-purpose stage for one for music, arts, theater. It's got a 36-foot frontage on it, and it has room at the back for changing, dressing rooms, and storage as well for equipment. We're also we're looking forward to it being used for the performing arts, music bands, for theater groups. Also, it can be used for presentations by the Valemount Tourism for doing their presentations for people touring the town, for fish and wildlife, tourism information, as well if theater groups were
Farmers market. Farmers market as
yes.
well?
Theater groups wanted to use it to stage performances. If the high school wanted to use it to stage performances for theatrical events, it could as well accommodate them. The structure itself is designed by Gord and Carson here. It's got a beam, open beam top at the front and the back. The roof will be metal, and The decking will be solid 2x6
2x6 cedar.
cedar, and the initial stage and what we're asking for is permission to build it. We'll be going for grants if the permission is granted. Then the initial stage will be to have it built with the wiring, lighting, electrical, so that it can be functional. Farther down the road, we'll be looking for more grants, which is secondary for lighting, curtains, and such. But we think that it'll be a boom to the town. Farmers market can use it as well. A shelter, a place for staging events. That will be beneficial for the town. Most towns usually have them. We don't have one as yet. I think it'll be a bonus. We need permission to use the site. It's sponsored by the Legion. Our group is sponsored by the Legion. And so that basically is our presentation.
Thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions? Councillor Torgerson?
Comment, Your Worship. Thank you so much for your presentation, or your delegation, excuse me. The design is quite impressive. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Other councillor? Councillor Salt?
Thank you. I know an idea like this had also come before a number of years back, but never really gotten any further, so it's nice to see this be revived. Question I have is, I know you're considering further grants for further improvements. I'm also concerned though about future maintenance and upkeep. Being a log structure, it's going to require constant care and upkeep, staining and maintenance. Is there a plan in place for that?
The maintenance would not be as much as on a log house, for instance, because it's well covered by the roof, and also it would be coated with a stain that's guaranteed for 15 years.
Any facility, any structure of any sort, be it here, will require maintenance, of course. The grounds around it will require, maintenance. Having a look at the field ourselves from the road, it doesn't look like there is much room, let's say, for an audience, but from the actual stage site, there is quite a bit of room for an audience. The grounds will have to be maintained, yes, of course. With a bonus comes a burden. You pay the price, but the construction that Gord and Carson has implemented, and I do give them credit for the plans, are giving you the best bang, let's say, for the buck as far as keeping the maintenance down. With his thoughtfulness in the implementation of the materials he's planning to use to build.
There was some concern with the parking for something like this too, but with the parking that's down by this hunting grounds and the parking along the roads here, I think it should be adequate because it's not a huge stage. And also it would involve making a bit of a trail behind the building here just to access from the parking to the stage. It's not a big job.
Councillor Blanchette?
What about insurance? I'm assuming that the building will be insured, and who will be looking after that?
I'm not sure how all that works, but I presume the building would actually be owned by the village when it's done.
Okay. And you say this is sponsored by the Legion?
It's being sponsored by the Legion to get it to the stage where we can submit the application for grants to build.
Okay.
It's necessary.
Do you have a rough estimate of the cost?
Yes, we do. I'll just move to that page. I have it right here. The labor that the cost that has been proposed is for the stage itself is $65,500.
That has been upgraded a little bit.
It's been upgraded.
The actual putting together of the stage, where some of that originally was counted on being volunteer.
Yes. I'll make the corrections because we were, in our initial estimate of the 65,500 was strictly the work without the stage being built, figuring that we would have volunteers, but we were advised that we should include the $4,400 labor that it would be required to build the substructure, the stage itself, below the roof. So that would be an additional $4,400 for the building of the stage platform.
And the total cost?
Well, that would be 69.
70,000.
Yeah, $70,000.
$70,000.
Which isn't.
Which is an estimate at this point.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Not-
That's what I said, you have a rough estimate of the
Yeah.
total cost, so, okay. Anything further that you want, Councillor Reimer?
How much area around the stage for seating and for people that are there to look at, attend the events?
Basically, all that area behind the information center.
You explained that you plan on putting the back of it to the woods,
The back of
so
the
that it's
stage
facing
would be-
the street, right?
The back of
Yeah,
it.
it's facing the street at an angle. If this is the area behind the information center, with the information center being here, stage would be about here facing across.
The stage would have its back against the woods where the salmon run is, facing the Shell station,
So
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got the whole field area there, which is fairly large. You can hold a fair number of people.
Anything further, Council?
I had something, but I forgot.
Yes,
I
Councillor Salt.
do know at one point when the center was built and when the initial landscaping was happening, that there was talk of future development of that area back up there. And that was when the first bandstand was proposed. And I know that there had been talk about expanding parking up there as well, because if the need arose that we would need more, such as with the farmer's market, and if we start having some outdoor performances, we might have to consider possibly expanding our parking up there as well.
When the village originally purchased this, I believe it's 2.5 acres in size that the village owns.
Yes.
Yes, including this, yeah.
Timing-wise, what might prove convenient is if the Shell is actually moving back from the highway, so that it won't be so much in front, it'll be now adjacent in terms of if people need a service.
Councillor Salt?
Is there, I imagine there's a deadline as far as the first major grant you're going after that you would need to have our support answer on by a certain date?
We weren't looking at a particular deadline or a major grant deadline. We weren't aware of a major grant deadline. We were just looking for the approval right now, and then we were going to go to the grant writer and see what was available from there. Basically, right now, I said we just come with hat in hand saying we'd like approval to use the land, the area itself, and get permission from council to do so.
Good, if there's no further questions, I'll take a motion to receive the delegation for information. Okay, Reimer and Salt. Any discussion, Council? At this point, nothing? Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's a very, very unique and nice design. Good for you. Yeah. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 4.2, Varda Pump Track Demo Tour, proposed setup on village property. And we have a delegation to make a presentation on the pump track demo tour.
Doesn't that sound exciting?
Well, you have my curiosity piqued.
Well, a while ago, thank you for allowing us to delegate. A while ago, Patricia Tony applied to the Canadian Ramp Company which is doing I think it's a Western Canada promotional tour. So they're a company that does sell these polyurethane kids courses. Although we applied, or Patricia applied, and we actually won the opportunity to have a track here on August 2nd from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And what they require is just a space to come into town. They set up polyurethane, it's like Lego. It's a very small loop for children with basically all of their wheeled vehicles, so scooters and rollerblades and bikes and skateboards. And they teach them just how to use bike balancing skills on this track. So it's an in, it's an out, very quick and easy setup. They pack their own insurance with them. They'll name the village as an additional insured. And what we were asking for, based on their requirements as well, our main focus would be if we could get it right in the middle of the park downtown, Centennial Park, I believe. Although if that's not flat enough for them, we might have to move it inside of the tennis court, would just require moving one of the nets. So very minimal impact, quick and dirty, 3 p.m. in, 6 p.m. out.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions? Councillor Blanchette.
What are the age groups? The ages?
It's open to all ages.
Oh, okay.
It's all ages, so whether you're 6 or 60.
Did you have a question? No? Councillor Salt or Torgerson?
My question was answered in their
Your question
presentation.
was answered? Okay. Well, thank you very much, and I think it sounds like a lot of fun.
It should be a neat idea. It's an excellent opportunity. I'm sure they're trying to sell us the track, but it's cool to use it while it's here.
Okay, Councillor Salt?
Is this, I know at one point with the Valemount Mountain Bike Park, there was thoughts of putting in a small park area that I thought was going to have some pump tracks and all that. And
This is completely separate from that. This is a polyurethane system that would ideally be an excellent addition to the curling rink or something like that in the summertime, or where the current skate park is. Although that's not a desire of Varda's, or it's not on the books at this page at this time.
Approval for this if it's August the 1st.
August the 2nd, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Is there any further question under the delegation, or from the delegation at this point? If none, all in favour of receipt? Carried. What is council's wish? Councillor Torgerson?
I move that we allow for this setup on August 2nd between 1,500 and 1,800.
Setup might be an hour, we need some
For use
flexibility on
between
time.
that time and that time
Okay.
for this opportunity.
Okay. Seconder, Councillor Salt. Okay, any questions on this? One more?
Question
Go
for the
ahead.
delegation. All necessary insurance papers will be forwarded to staff.
That's correct, yeah. They will name the village as an additional insured and send you anything that you guys need,
Okay.
yeah.
And you can come into the office and go over all of the details to the satisfaction of what the CAO or the CO require.
Sounds great.
Okay.
I'll probably do that beginning of early next week.
Okay.
That's great.
Good. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank
Okay,
you guys very
all in
much.
favor? Carried. Thanks.
As you mentioned, we haven't seen sun for a while, so I'm going biking. Thank you.
Be careful, have fun. Say to my husband.
Okay. And we have 4.5. I think that was removed, was it?
Yeah.
4.5?
No, there was no, I was reading camera, no.
Well, that was for in camera. Okay, so I'll remove that then. All right, we have correspondence for action. Agenda item 6.1, Sports Day Committee, Vail Mountain Days 2017 date change, request for support and input, and a motion to receive this for discussion first. Blanchette and Torgerson. All right, it's open for discussion. Okay, Councillor Torgerson.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity to get everything into the 150 celebration with no kind of window between events. Those coming to celebrate with us who are traveling wouldn't have to make the trip twice. And the focus would be truly around Canada's 150th birthday.
Councillor Reimer?
I kind of like the idea if it'll work for them.
Councillor Salt?
I think it's a great opportunity for all the different organizations that work together on some of these different items and events, to be able to combine it all into one really great big celebration. I think it'd be a fabulous idea. I loved it from the moment I read it.
Okay, Councillor Blanchette, did you have something to add?
Yeah, no, just a little.
Well, I want to take a moment to congratulate Charlotte Abernathy, the president of the Valemount Community Sports Day Committee. I am exceedingly proud of the Vail Mountain Days weekend, the success that they had. I participated in just about everything, and I was disappointed that there was no Valemount Village float, just like the Tourism Society said that if the village put one in, they would go in with them. And I want to actually really congratulate Addie Janum as well for her very able marshalling of the parade. The parade was exceedingly long, and it was had a lot of entries, and I was glad that I picked up enough goodies, double bubble gum and stuff like that at Costco in Prince George to share with them 3 buckets of things. And for the younger generation in our community and their first effort to have a Vail Mountain Days, I think they did very, very well, and I just reiterate that I'm exceedingly proud of them and of the entire weekend's events and the parade. So my thanks to them, and I am pleased to support this, and I would expect that there would be more participation next year. So if there's no further comments, all in favor of agreeing to them changing the day as well as to working with them. Carried. Okay, agenda item 8.1, recommendation of, the June 2016 accounts payable report. Recommendation that council receives the accounts payable report for information purposes. Blanchette and Reimer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Agenda item 8.2, official community plan, OCP review. I will have a motion, please, for discussion prior to directing staff to any actions. Blanchette and Torgerson. And it's open for discussion. Councillor Torgerson.
It's long overdue. The more efficient we can make this process, the better.
Okay. Councillors, any? Blanchette or Reimer or Salt, any comments? I discussed this with our financial officer this afternoon, and Urban Systems has always worked with the village to establish the official, to do the work for the official community plan in discussions with council and the business community and other residents of the community. They always held an open meeting. They also canvassed the businesses on Main Street as well as Fifth Avenue, and they canvassed the balance of the community as well, and we always had a very good success with Urban Systems from Kamloops. Now I understand that we have to put out a request for proposals. However, I should like council to consider that we do this.
Do what, sorry?
To put out a request for proposals to have the official community plan for the municipality done by someone like Urban Systems or the like, rather than having staff do this. We do have $100,000 in the budget, and I think that would more than cover to have it done professionally. Yes, Councillor Salt.
Sorry, maybe I missed something, but that's how I thought I read it in the report, is that it would be to submit an RFP for professional services to assist staff.
Well, then maybe.
That is the recommendation, yes.
Okay, and that's, that would be item 1 or recommendation 1 or 2?
Recommendation 1.
Okay, so do we need to the staff compiling deficiencies in the official community plan and areas of concern, and preparing a preliminary general outline of process for the OCP review. Is all of that really necessary? Or doesn't the successful consultant do all of that?
I think,
Councillor?
I would think that if internal staff did some of the groundwork or the legwork, then the consultant would be able to at least be that much more efficient.
Okay, well, my experience, my experience with when it was done in 1996 and then again in 2006, the staff did not have to do anything like that. Was the consultant that did everything. Mr. Macneill.
I'm just going to add, you can probably approach it from either way. If you leave the consultants do it, if they need information, then you can respond to their information requests.
Yes.
Otherwise, the other approach is being suggested that you try to anticipate their information requests beforehand.
Yes.
So I don't think it matters either way.
Okay.
That it might be more efficient to do the latter that you're suggesting,
Yes.
because if you work with them versus working in abeyance beforehand.
Yes, I just feel that they are the professionals. They know what needs to be done, and instead of saying, here's what we want you to do, they know. Councillor Salt.
I'd also have to say that our staff are professionals and that they know what the challenges that we've been going through in our community. They know a lot of the different requests that have been coming through for variance requests and changes. So to me, I don't think it's going to be a hindrance. I think if anything, they probably already have a small list of items that they know are the key areas that are going to be addressed with the consultants.
So I would suggest that the consultants sit down and ask them these when they need them.
Right.
Okay. I was here for the last two, and I know how efficient it was done. Okay? So, any further remarks from council? You want to go ahead with number one, that's just fine. I just feel that our staff is busy enough, and there are requests that have come forward that have not been addressed. And for some development, when it takes almost a month to respond to their development application, then our staff is perhaps too busy. Okay, this is mid-July, and construction would have been good to have been started already in some cases. Councillor Reimer?
So, Your Worship, a point of clarification, if we go with one, that means the staff is involved, or can that be amended to incorporate what we had discussed?
Well, there's been no motion yet, Your Worship, if I may.
We're just under
Discussion.
receipt for discussion, yes. And so that's what I wanted council to discuss before following either recommendation. Okay.
But if my question was, if we follow, if we go for recommendation one, does that entail staff working on this ahead of time, or
Yes.
can that, or do we then just go for two and make that change in number two?
I believe that number one would entail the staff working in advance, and then it doesn't follow through until 2017, okay? And whereas if the request for proposals, I think if the request for proposals went out, then consultants could start much more quickly. Sooner, that's right. Councillor Salt.
So you're saying that number one doesn't read, if the Village of Valemount wishes this OCP project to proceed in an expeditious manner, given other demands on staff time, it will be necessary to engage an experienced planning consultant to undertake the preparation of the OCP under the supervision of the village's corporate officer and planner. It is proposed that an RFP for planning consulting services be issued for the proposed OCP update. The estimated cost of the project supported by a planning consultant is between $75,000 to $85,000. However, a budget of up to $100,000 should be established, which we have done. Grant funding will be sought by the village to help support this project and hopefully offset the substantial amount of projected project costs. So I took number one as meaning that alternative, that paragraph in that staff supplemented staff report. Is that wrong in how I read that?
In terms of the intent that I had, that is correct. That was my intention, to proceed in that manner.
So to me, that's saying, because staff's time is limited, it is to put out an RFP for a consultant.
Correct.
Okay, then, it says here, utilize internal staff resources, mentioning the staff, the corporate officer, corporate services clerk, to work on groundwork, compiling deficiencies in the OCP and areas of concern, preparing a preliminary general outline of process for OCP review, and it would entail utilizing some of the official community plan budget monies for internal salary costs. And we budgeted $100,000 for 2016. And so if this is going to be done internally and not done immediately, then there won't be any OCP until 2017. It's the middle of July already. Does the staff have time to set aside everything else and do this now?
Could I respond?
Sir.
Your Worship?
Yeah.
It was my intention to be doing these things in parallel, that we would be working on preliminary, which we already have actually. I mean, there's, as the councilman did point out, there are deficiencies, and the council's pointed out a few of them that we know that exist, that we need to go forward with. So we'll continue to sort of compile those kind of things that need to be addressed. But at the same time, no, I was intending to proceed with a request for proposals immediately. There wasn't going to be any delay anticipated in going forward with that process, no.
Okay, it says here, that means that even with an ambitious work plan, only the initial stages can be completed in 2016.
But that is
The majority, if not all of the public input will come in 2017. We budgeted for this year, for 2016.
But Your Worship,
Yeah.
my point is that given that it's already July, you probably wouldn't get, I mean, even under the most ambitious circumstances, you probably wouldn't get a consultant up and running until, September or early. And by that time, I don't see you being able to go through the entire process. That's only a few months.
Okay.
So I would say that given that and it's been unfortunate because we've had staff turnover, so there's been a bit of a delay in getting this started. But I'm saying that no matter how ambitiously we proceed, and I am suggesting we move ambitiously, that it won't unfortunately all get done this year. We will only just get started. And I would anticipate, we may get some public input done this year, but I think that a bulk of it more than likely will happen in 2017.
As I said in the past, it was always the consultant that got the public input.
Yeah, so that's
not the village staff.
No, I completely agree.
And I don't remember exactly how many months it took. Perhaps our economic development officer will recall how long it took from the inception to the completion of the OCP. Okay. You wanted to comment?
Well, I'm just thinking that there's been no consultations with any of the consultants to find out what timeline they need. We're making some assumptions here.
Okay.
So the window might be just barely big enough to get the job done by the end of the year, or they could complete all the investigation and complete the write-up into the new year, but the payment in large part would be made from this year's fiscal. So you might be able to get the work squeezed into this year if you have some consultation on it.
Okay. Well, it's too bad that our economic development officer is absent presently, because I'm sure he would remember. He was here for both OCP, the 1996 and then the update in 2006. And he would remember John Dumbrell, the consultant, very well, and probably give him a call and say how long did it take. If council wishes, I can phone Mr. Dumbrell tomorrow and find out how long it would take as well. But if you want to make the decision tonight, that's okay too. Yes, Councillor Blanchette.
When the RFP goes out, whoever wins the RFP, will we not be able to sit down and say, this is the time frame that you have in order to do this project? And then, I mean, we're in charge.
Yes, that's right. I would certainly think so.
Or another way of doing it is you can specify the time frame in the RFP and then see whether or not they can respond to get it done. If you get the RFP out this summer and say you want to complete it by the end of the year, then they have to respond in a manner that gets it done by that
Yes.
timeline.
Yes, I would think so. Okay. Okay, is council, any more discussion under receipt? Councillor Torgerson?
Do you recall either incident from inception to completion?
I don't recall exactly how many months it took.
Typically, I'm guessing 7 to 12 months.
I don't know that it took that long, really. I don't think it took us that long.
No?
No.
I've heard that it does take that long of a process, so I mean, I know
Okay,
times.
is that how long it took Valemount in 96
I
or
don't know, I
2006?
wasn't here, I'm
Okay.
not saying that, but I
Okay.
am saying times have changed. So
Okay.
what may have happened 10, 20 years ago might not be the same as
Okay.
now. That's all I'm saying, is until we submit an RFP and get some
Okay.
proposals, we won't know.
Okay.
The next council meeting's in 2 weeks' time. Do we have 2 weeks to make some more phone calls, inquiries, and find out the timeline? And if we come back at this topic in 2 weeks' time, does that impact us
Yeah.
negatively by doing a little more work on it in the meantime?
I don't know. I can, I know John Dumbrell, who spent many years here in Valemount with Urban Systems. I don't know if he's still in Kamloops or Kelowna. I did see him last year at EBCM. I do know that he's professional enough that if I asked him, did he remember how long, without any kind of commitment from the Village of Valemount, because he, as a professional, he also knows that it would have to be replied or a response to a request for proposals. And I would just inquire if he can recall how long it took. Yes, did you want to comment?
Your Worship, I'd like to see this done in a way that's comprehensive and looks into the future, and considering all the things and challenges that we have. So rather than rush anything, I would say let's have our ducks in a row before we come back and make that decision and wait for 2 weeks.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. So you're making that motion?
Sure.
Okay. And seconded by Councillor Torgerson. Any further discussion on this?
Sorry.
Yes?
I'm sorry, what was the motion?
To defer it for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and we can get more information, and that was moved by Councillor Reimer and seconded by Councillor Torgerson. And we can get more information, as the councillor has said, we want to have it done correctly, and deferring it by 2 weeks to ensure that we not do anything in haste. Excuse me. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 8.3, proposed development permit with a variance for 1065 Fifth Avenue. There's a recommendation here. What is council's wish? Councillor Torgerson?
That council authorizes staff to notify the public of council's intention to consider final approval of the height variance at the time of the development permit. 0316 is considered for approval, subject to feedback.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Blanchette. Is there any discussion? Yes, Councillor Sell.
Do we know how the height of this building compares to the building a number of homes down at the Flavel property?
I can answer that if Your Worship. It's a 3-foot increase.
So 3 feet higher than Flavel's. So, as long as it goes through the public process.
Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Agenda item 8.4, 2016 quarterly budget report, that council receives and accepts the 2016 quarterly budget report January to June. Isn't that semi-annual? Rather than quarterly?
Well, it's submitted every 3 months, so the next 3 months is
Okay,
also to June.
January to June, okay. So what is council's wish? Councillor Torgerson and Blanchette?
We receive and accept.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Agenda item 8.5, airport hangar request. Okay, what is council's wish?
So the back of the second page of the blue?
8.5?
Yeah.
Councillor Torgerson?
I move that we approve the lease committee to notify both AFD Petroleum and Nathan Powell that they've been approved to construct hangars at the Village of Valemount Airport while ensuring all Village of Valemount and Regional District Phase 4 George procedures are followed.
Seconder, Councillor Blanchette. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Council reports. I'll start with Councillor Torgerson this time.
Your Worship, I have nothing to report.
Really?
Fishing was awesome.
Did you catch
Tons.
tons? Wow.
Well, not literally tons. but-
Not literally, but. Better be careful on camera. Yes, I was
That's
just going
right.
to say.
Don't quote me on that.
You had a license?
It was fairly close.
Okay, license to catch how many?
Depending on the size, you're allowed to keep 1 and 5 quota under a certain size, and we had a lot of catch and release.
Okay, good for you. Okay, now next, Councillor Salt.
On July 1st, Canada Day, I was a part of the evening celebrations where the Valemount Children's Activity Society ran the concession and sold cotton candy, and thank the people of Valemount very much for coming out and celebrating that night and supporting our center. We were able to raise $410 to go towards some of our outdoor play space and indoor classroom improvements. And Mayor Townsend had a good time cutting cake and feeding all the hungry forces that were there, and I don't think we spilt any, did we? I think we did okay. So it was good. It was a really good night. And then on Friday the 8th, I had a lease review committee meeting, and that's where we were reviewing airport leases and proposed hangars, and it was a very good meeting, and we'll have some follow-up coming to council on that as well.
Councillor Reimer.
Yeah, so, thank you. I had the opportunity on Canada Day to have the first Canada Day with a new naturalized Canadian in our family, and had the pleasure of introducing our adopted grandson, direct from across the other side of the ocean, which was kind of fun. So we went to the museum. For part of it, and then we went to the early part of the Canada Day celebration and had provided some of the support by having some of the goodies there at the kiosk. And on the 8th of July, I also attended the lease review meeting.
And the only thing I have is July 11th, we had a Children, Youth and Mental Health meeting.
Thank you. I didn't write anything down, but that's okay. To me, the most important thing was July the 1st, to be at the museum with the Historic Society, and even though it was raining, appreciatively, the Public Works had set up the tent prior to that. But I'm sure that they're coming and going. There were a couple of hundred people. They just defied the weather, and they came to celebrate July the 1st. So I did see Councillor Reimer there with the new little Canadian that's a part of their family now. And there were many others, and 4 RCMP in red serge stood and helped. I cut the cake and they helped serve it to everyone. And there was even a gentleman there from Finland who was so pleased to be there for July the 1st and join us in the celebrations. And at the sports grounds that evening, only had one RCM policeman there, but there were people there from Florida that were just so excited to help Canada celebrate their very special day. And the fireworks were absolutely tremendous, and I want to reiterate my compliments to Jennifer Robinson for the work that she did in organizing All of Canada Day and helping out, as well as to the Historic Society, their staff person, Sue Markle. She did a wonderful job at the museum too, and they all did. It was a really special day, so I'm sorry that everyone from the village wasn't able to participate. Anyway, and that's about all that's really significant, so thank you very much. Okay, motion to receive the verbal reports, please. Okay, Blanchette and Torgerson. All in favor? Carried. 12.1, recommendation that council accepts the list of outstanding previous council resolutions. Salt and Blanchette. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Carried. And public comment, 14.1. This is the time for public comments on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda for tonight. Any public comments? Yes.
Good evening, councillors. I appreciate the proposal that was brought forward for a band shell behind these village offices. I think it would be a good thing. I have 2 reservations, however, and even though stain or paint might be warranted for up to 15 years, is the additional labor, and because it's a $65,000 to $100,000 who knows, project in the end or ongoing for the life of the construction. I wonder what impact that may have on CBT and other funding the Legion may be looking for to complete and maintain the structure, if we're also looking at the same time to tap into whatever funding might be available for as we endeavor to look into social infrastructure here and any amenities that it might require. Otherwise, I think it was a good council meeting, and I think that you did well in deferring for 2 weeks the RFP for the OCP. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Is there any other public comment this evening? Hearing none. Motion to receive, please. Blanchette and Reimer. All in favor? Carried. We know who you are. I'll let you get away with it this time. We'll let you get away with it this time. Okay, so I should like to receive a motion, please, for to proceed to an in-camera meeting. Okay, Selt and Torgerson. So, recommendation that council proceed to an in-camera meeting for consideration of 4 items per section 91 C, G, I, and J of the community charter to discuss the matters as listed. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Good. Not bad. 10 to 8.